Aris God here, and it's time to talk about Mushoku Tensei. Now, this one felt a bit more like a continuation from last week's episode, with Rudy still dealing with starting up his life again after going through everything that happened. Last episode, we saw it in episode 1, he finally admitted he had a problem. He kind of like broke through it a bit, but right now we see him dealing with said problem that he had here and his life as an adventurer here. Now, I really liked this episode. I know the pacing is slow if we combine both episodes, but I'm glad somehow it builds up a lot more here. We get very satisfying conclusion to his own inner emotions, and just get me even more excited to finally have Rudy getting back on his feet, so to say. But I'm also curious what's going to happen next, so let's get into it and talk about it. Now, I really liked the beginning of the episode. He had his own General Iroh moment from Avatar, training or building muscles like Mash from Mashal. If you haven't watched Mashal do it, he even named his own muscles, thanking them every time he was doing any training exercises. I should also get in on that. I gotta lose some weight if I'm being honest here. Maybe someday. But yeah, that was a fun start of the episode with Rudy getting jacked, thinking about Zenith also. But here we see back at the Adventure Guild, we have this smug adventurer proclaiming out loud that he's gonna take the quest to go after the snow drakes here, so everybody knows. Now, I thought we were gonna see him again, and it's confirmed this episode. Also, Rudy has started building a reputation in the town here, but mostly know him by his nickname Quagmire, which I have a feeling is gonna stick. A lot of the people were using more Quagmire than his name. Besides Counter Arrow, he was doing odd jobs, shoveling snow, even healed a kid that scraped her knee there, melting snow with his magic there. So anything and everything, a long time. It was a few months there, so even like a year or something, slowly building up his life again and reputation, spreading the word about his mother, what he needs, building sort of relationship around town there, which I think is very important considering that right now he is alone. He has to rely on others also, but it's not gonna be that easy. Like I said last episode, depression is not a switch that you just flip on and off whenever you feel like it. It's a slow road ahead. But now I was surprised to see Sarah and Counter Arrow again, with Suzanne. Sarah coming in to ask Rudy to join them for a job. He was hesitating a bit at the start, but he ends up joining when Suzanne comes in also to go for Galgao ruins to pick up scales from snowdrakes. Now, this is where complications arise a bit, but before that I really liked how those ruins looked, just the scope of them when the camera panned out, how impressive they looked. Even Rudy was impressing. He hasn't seen anything like that on the demon continent. I hope we get to see more of the world, so to say, moving forward in the series, because it looks so great, especially the backgrounds there. But he also saves Sarah a bit thanks to his eyes. She was about to fall over. Of course, he touches her boob, she gets embarrassed. He didn't mean it, at least this time, but hey, because anime, make sure to check out the podcast. These sort of things happen always. Now, they were there to gather scales, and he sees who was the leader of that civilization. We have a statue of Kirishika. It's to scale, it's definitely to scale. I got a feeling that Kirishika is bigger than the statue in real life. That was a fun moment there, seeing that. I do hope we get to see more Kirishika in the future. She's just so free-spirited. Every time she was on screen, she doesn't care what anybody was doing around her. She was just gonna do her own thing. She was a fun character. But after that, they get attacked like a swarm of those snow drakes. They looked more like Komodo dragons, but white. And he again decides to stay behind and cover their retreat. Even kind of having a semi moment like last episode, kind of accepting they were gonna leave him behind, but they don't. They actually come back and also help. They start fighting. He spaced out a bit going through his emotions there, so Rudy is not fully back, at least at the start of this episode. But this is where complications happens. They were probably gonna be okay during that fight, but we have that adventure, the smug asshole guy at the start of the episode coming in, starts slicing dragons, being very smug, and after the fight he sucker punches Timothy, instantly thinking that they were there to step on his toes, to take his job from him. I already announced at the guild that this is our jobs, but he kind of messed up. This entire thing is, well, not the entire thing. He kind of assumed a lot of the things and blamed it on the others, because where he said he was gonna go, there were other ruins, and these are other ruins, but somehow they got interconnected and the monsters kind of swarmed there. And Timothy tried his best to de-escalate things. He kind of does it, but I'm also thinking, how is Timothy so calm? He's very non-confrontational here. Now, while this guy is an asshole, I'm talking about that adventure guy, and I think we got his name. I kind of liked him, what he said in this episode. We're gonna get to that. He feel like Rudy needed to hear that. Now, after they fix, so to say, they de-escalate things, they go on to celebrate here, and even Sarah asks, hey, this time can you join us, Rudy? And he goes. Even thanks, they thank him. He thanks them for saving him. Now they also tease Sarah a bit because she kind of started warming up to Rudy more and more throughout the episode. And I had the same thoughts at the start of the episode. That guy looked really similar to Paul, or reminded me a bit of Paul. And when Rudy mentioned it to himself, hey, I'm thinking, was Paul the same during his adventuring days? Which I hope. Are we ever gonna get a flashback seeing younger Paul, Ghislaine, and whoever else was in his party? That would be an interesting flashback episode if we ever do get one. Even more considering that they're going after Zenith now. Maybe we find out more about her life and Paul, his family, everything there, because we only know the present them ever since season 1 started, and some random discussions and things we found out along the way. We do know that Paul is an asshole, even more confirmed what he did to the maid, what his relationship with Ghislaine. He was a womanizer, to say the least. But also I'm curious about their past. Now here we have this guy coming in drunk, starts well, sort of apologizing, but still in a asshole way, kind of saying it's your fault for me having to apologize. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but Timothy was still very calm. They'll plays along with him. I feel like that's the best thing you can do with somebody like that. The more, if you engage them, if you engage people like that, even in real life, you're never gonna win, because they will never admit you are correct. Just say yes, smile, and move on. So Timothy kind of unlocked the way to life here. But the best thing that happened in this episode was when the asshole guy started going off on Rudy, saying, why are you so worried about how others see you? Why are you looking down on us? Why don't you look people in the eye? Stop hiding from what you're trying to run away. And Rudy was clenching his teeth there, barely struggling, grasping that relic he has, that the pants of the entire episode. But this was my favorite moment in the episode, besides during the fight. I mean, the emotional one. Rudy needed to hear this very, very much, because he has, well, first episode he admitted he had a problem. Right now he kind of was running away from it, and I'm glad this guy said what he said. He was very much needed for Rudy to hear that, and it stays with him throughout the episode after that. When things get even more complicated and dark, after that day there, another day at the Adventurer, Suzanne and the others come in. Well, not all of them. Apparently Mimir and Sarah died. Now, Like, there's no way Sarah died. She's a bit too more of an important character. Apparently she's just missing in a blizzard, and they kind of left her behind, which makes me think, I don't know what they would have, somebody else would have done in that situation. Maybe it was the correct choice, maybe it wasn't. It's very easy to say, yes, you should have stayed behind and helped them, but if you're in that situation, no, that's why hindsight is always 2020. But they also blame themselves for abandoning her. Now, Rudy, when he hears that, I'm like, he's instantly gonna go after her. He decides to go in the forest. There he packs, goes after her. He just casually stops the blizzard a bit at the start there. And this is where the words of that asshole are in his mind, even thinking to himself, he doesn't really care if she's dead or alive. He just wants a win, basically. He just wants to succeed at something, and casually just walking, he felt like you're a big MMORPG character, just decimating everything in his path. Those buffaloes that attacked them got destroyed, their shish kebabbed their entire population. I'm like, damn, Rudy is kind of savage, to say the least, when he's on autopilot there. Now he finds Mimir's remains, which Mimir confirmed to be fully dead. Finds an earring from Sarah. Like, there's no way they killed her, not yet at least. But this is where he gets attacked by this living tree. They didn't really explain what sort of monster that was, didn't expand on it, but Sarah was inside the trunk of that tree monster there, tied. Now this is where the running scene, when Rudy moved instantly, no hesitation, looked so good. Started blasting spells left and right to save her, gets her out, and dives instantly in the water and swims away. That was such a fast and quick, amazing scene then from Rudy. That training at the start really paid off, because while we know he is very good with magic, his stamina, even from his younger days, was really bad. So this training time more than paid off. I hope he sticks with it. But after this, they take shelter in a cave. They warm up. He was healing her. They were semi-naked. Of course, he was getting aroused again. She was getting embarrassed. Even thanks her for that. He's still a pervert. Everybody knows that. But here, apparently, there's something wrong with her. Like, she's kind of hiding it. She's not really saying what happened. So I think there's a lot more to Sarah, which I hope we're gonna get more of her past here. She almost hesitated to say something to him, but she says that I was glad that you rescued me. But I think it was the other way around, because if Rudy didn't meet them, especially in episode 1 during that carriage ride, I think Rudy would have been dead, honestly, just randomly dead in a ditch. But here, talking to myself, one of my favorite things are the inner monologues that we get from Rudy, saying, you kind of saved me. He also got some salvation here. Even when they go back, Suzanne was angry that Rudy went off on his own, but Timothy again calms her down. They thank Rudy, but he also thanks them back. And I think this was one of the most important meeting of people, so to say, in Rudy's life after everything that happened. They were grateful, both sides, to each other, and Sarah still has his coat. Is he ever gonna get his coat back? She whispers something. I think she maybe said thank you. I didn't really catch it, so if you did, let me know in the comments below. If it's a spoiler from the source material, if it's found out later on, don't tell me, please. And I really like this episode because it feels like Rudy is finally getting back on his feet, so to say. And they are not really spending a lot of time on him being depressed. Like, imagine if this was 6 episodes of him just feeling really bad, not being able to do anything. But at the same time, the pacing for me at least feels really good. But I'm also worried about Zenith. It's been quite a lot of time, and so far there's zero information besides what Kirishika saw there. And yeah, I hope we get more information on that. So very excited about next episode. The build up is definitely there, so I'm really curious what you guys thought about the episode, what do you think about Sarah in general. So let me down in the comments below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, helps me quite a lot, and you guys get the latest videos on the series that I follow. So keep enjoying Mushoku, make sure to check out the podcast Because Anime. I'm gonna see you again in the next one. Bye bye.